What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast, and Real XRP Boy has put out a lot of good videos. So we're going to start off with this one, and we're talking about XRP being the standard in terms of value transfer. Take a listen.
One of the stipulations under that settlement agreement was that Ripple Labs, a company, conduct transaction monitoring and reporting of transactions that are conducted on XRP Ledger, a blockchain. Now, Ripple Labs does not own or operate XRP Ledger, and Ripple Labs does not have anything to do with any of the other entities that connect to that blockchain, with the exception of Ripple subsidiary entities. Ripple does have a financial institution subsidiary, a company that sells cryptocurrency to wholesale buyers. But apart from that, it does not know any of the other entities on this blockchain, nor does it have anything whatsoever to do with it.
Okay, so there you have that. In this next video, we have, you'll see right now, but literally, this is, talking about several things that, back in the day were significant. And now, can you just imagine what it's like now? Take a listen for yourself.
Ledger exchanges. Cryptocurrency exchanges are typically, they trade off ledger, meaning they trade off of the blockchain. They have their own private ledger, their own private database, and their customers trade on that database. They can jump on and off the protocol, but they're generally doing it on a private ledger. So market manipulation practices that we see in traditional markets today are also happening in cryptocurrency markets, but maybe many would say at an accelerated pace. They're often conducted on private databases, and central banks would have to consider that as well. Are you going to allow for off-ledger trading of the digital currency that is issued by central banks? Let me just see here. There's nothing new when it comes to dark pool trading. Citibank was recently fined for, 10 seconds. There's a lot I could say about market integrity, and I can talk to you a lot about that afterwards if anyone wants to see me afterwards. There are various different ways of doing it. The main thing here is that cryptocurrency trading and cryptocurrency exchanges are largely unregulated today. So the market manipulation practices that happen in today's stock markets are happening maybe times 10 in cryptocurrency markets. Everybody's taking full advantage of it until we have regulation surrounding it.
And there you have it. Everyone's taking full advantage of, trading cryptos since it's not regulated. And she said it's 10 times worse than the regular stock market. So there you have it. If you had any doubts, it's coming directly from her. Okay, moving on now. This is another thing she said from 2018. Things should start ramping up soon. I think they're all itching to get this party started. It is a highly complex task with implications most of us can't fathom.
As we have seen in many areas of financial regulation since the global financial crisis, we all work together to continue reaping the collective benefits of a safe and secure global financial system. The rapid pace of innovation and its borderless nature calls for building international consensus, thus helping eliminate gaps in regulations that might provoke a race to the bottom. An early formation of an international consensus would also provide a smoother landscape for innovators, because the larger and more complex a system is, the bigger the shock when regulation is introduced. Because of the realm of crypto assets is developing so fast, regulators should be wary of recognizing them too strictly, because narrow definitions might become obsolete overnight. Instead, drawing on existing international principles for financial regulation, such as those on governance, auditing, client asset segregation, minimum capital, outsourcing, cybersecurity, and disclosure, could be applicable to publicly offered crypto assets and to crypto exchanges.
Folks, when this thing is all said and done and it's all within regulation, Augustin Carson's in a video talked about that the central banks having ultimate control. That's what they want ultimately. That's what it is. The technology is great, and you are an owner of the protocol. But if you want to be able to uh, interact in the real economy, you have to go through the gatekeepers, which are the central banks. And if they issue their central bank digital currencies, which they will, you're gonna have to go through them because you'll need a digital dollar to purchase things. Yeah, you can be owner of the of XRP, but if you can't actually participate in the real economy, what good does it do you? So this is things you need to think about, um, because it's happening, and I think this is a good example. Okay, these are, this was a while back now, but listen to what he's saying here, and this is part of the IMF.
We have to appreciate the risks these powerful new tools will provide for our norms around privacy, right? And I think this has been insufficiently addressed to date. Once we start developing greater transparency in these systems and empowering regulators and corporates and others to have a better sense of who exactly is doing what throughout these markets, as we develop more powerful tools to analyze this data about you and your financial lives, we need to maybe think about how we're going to renegotiate the proper balance between privacy and transparency throughout the financial system and our markets. And one line.
Okay, and there he said it. They want to analyze and have tools to better analyze every transaction that you're making, and that's where it's ultimately going towards. And that's what one of the BIS papers says, that where our privacy is one of the things that might be in question. So we know that digital currencies, that's if you get rid of cash, you're giving a lot more power to these central planners. Okay, last clip here we have by Brian Brooks, and shout out again to your XRP boy for putting this awesome content out. This was an interview I believe took place last year in 2020, and listen to what he has to say here.
Well, it's really hard to know because crypto is interestingly nonpartisan. Its biggest fans include both Democrats and Republicans, and its biggest opponents include both Democrats and Republicans. And so I think the better predictor is not Biden versus Trump. The better predictor is ultimately who has the strongest thesis for this stuff. And as I've said many times before, my thesis is that there is a thing about decentralization. It is both a freer technology and it is also a more sound money strategy than central bank governed money printing approaches, which is kind of what we've done historically. Obviously, there's some people coming into the Biden administration who agree with that. If it is true that Michael Barr is my successor at the OCC, I think he's likely to have more of a thesis similar to mine on this. He has a background having spent some time on the Ripple advisory board, for example. And on the other hand, Secretary Yellen has said some relatively skeptical things about the asset class. So I don't think it's a partisan issue. I think it's more about who's a tech adopter and who's an innovator versus who isn't.
Brian, speaking of Ripple, you worked at Coinbase, you worked in the government, albeit for under a year. So tell us, is XRP a security, yes or no?
Well, these are complicated questions and matters of pending litigation, so who can say? But here's what I would tell you, though, which I think is the most important issue about XRP, and that is there is a difference, okay? There's a difference between the way in which an asset is distributed and the nature of the asset at a given moment in time. And I think the issue in Ripple that gets lost in all of the discussion is whatever happened in the original distribution of XRP tokens, 10 years ago, and whether that was or wasn't an unregistered securities offering, that's what the courts will decide. That's a different question from whether XRP today is a security. And the SEC itself has said that assets can change their nature over time as they achieve utility and as they achieve decentralization. So if I had to make a prediction, I'll just make a quick prediction, and that is that there is a settlement to be done here somewhere, and the settlement has to do with the distribution of the tokens so that existing token holders can continue to trade them and find value in them the way that they do.
Boom. And Brian Brooks laying some great information on you. Folks, on this channel, I'm always going to shoot straight with you. And I'm telling you the things that I mean, not that I'm saying. I'm showing you the videos of, and I've shown you the videos of different central planners, regulators talking about the reality of this digital world. You can choose to believe me or not, but I've shown you the information, and I'm always going to shoot straight, and I'm here to help you guys learn, and also I'm learning while I'm doing it. So this is where the current is trending, and it's best to be informed and not be ignorant of the fact of what's going on. Okay, but you are owners of the protocol, and there is value in the protocol. I hope this episode has brought you some value. Like and subscribe. Comment below. What are your thoughts? As always, I like hearing from you. This is the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.